Now it's time to analyze the operational situation on the much-suffering Pokrovsk front. Fierce battles are ongoing. On the Pokrovsk front, Russian invaders made 26 attempts to push our defenders from their positions. In the areas of the settlements of Radinsky, Pokrovska, Kadlina, Udachna, and Molodetska Filia, and towards Sergivka and Nogopigorodno, 2 combat clashes are still ongoing. And now, attention, we will show you how Abrams tanks scorched the earth beneath the invaders' feet on that same Pokrovsk front. This will be a truly spectacular sight. All the details are in the exclusive report by TSN Nedelia's war correspondent Andriy Tsaplienko. Let's watch.
Australian Abrams tanks are already operating in the field. It seemed that the war had changed drastically, and such a 60-ton tank would simply become a huge target for Russian drones. But in the 425th Scholar Regiment, they figured out how to adapt these vehicles to the new conditions of warfare. And believe me, it's not just about swapping out English labels for Ukrainian ones.
Amid the ruins of Pokrovsk, fireworks light up the night sky. This is how the Skala Regiment celebrated the new year in a city that the Kremlin had declared its own several times. From the soldiers of the 425th Assault Regiment Skala, we wish you peaceful skies.
The Russian soldiers who were hiding in the railway building were so shocked by the fireworks that they didn't fire a single shot at Skala. But an even bigger shock for the occupiers was this Abrams tank that entered Pokrovsk. This is
an assault tank? It's designed for offensives, for assaults. It's only for direct action.
First, the Abrams destroyed the enemy position at the well-known gas station where we used to enjoy having coffee. Then it turned its barrel and, with its 120mm caliber, started chasing the occupiers out of the neighboring industrial zone.
My task was to periodically and methodically lay down fire. I would take a sector and go first, second, third, fourth, and then in reverse order until I ran out of ammo.
Such operations haven't occurred for a long time at the front. A tank covered a paratrooper column. Scully assault troops entered Pokrovsk in armor, and, under Abrams cover, cleared the industrial zone.
The idea was to use this tank as psychological pressure on the enemy. When a tank rolls in, it stuns them. There was no return fire from small arms. FPV drones used, no arms fodder.
The Abrams withstood over 18 hits from FPV drones, tankers say.
Their own vehicle. Inside, FPV drones didn't matter. All my anxiety vanished, and my crew felt the same. No one panicked. I told them, guys, an FPV drone hit us. And they said, we didn't notice.
Even though they had to abandon the tanks, the crew didn't get a single scratch.
These brooms around the perimeter of the tank, or as they're also called, wire dreads, combined with reactive armor panels and the so-called anti-drone hood, allowed the crew to feel fairly safe, even under attacks from Russian drones. But most importantly, it's the proper tactics for using these Australian Abrams tanks.
Australia decided to transfer 49 Abrams tanks to the Ukrainian army. The shipment of the vehicles to Ukraine resembled a secret operation. The route by which the armored vehicles were delivered was kept secret. In the United States, where these tanks are manufactured, they weren't very pleased with Australia's decision, saying that Abrams tanks are too large and Russian drones would spot them quickly. The Skala Regiment has proven that it has experience and knowledge that are unavailable in its homeland. Abramsov.
There was heavy fog, and the weather conditions allowed us to get as close as possible without being noticed.
The Kremlin needs Trump to believe in a complete takeover. Pokrovsk. That's why in December the Russians brought the Kremlin propagandist Solovyov into the ruined city. To get Putin's favor to record his stand-up routine with a tricolor rag, dozens of Russian disposable bikers, distracting the cliff, launched a frantic assault. Almost all of them have been liquidated.
So that Solovyov would have the opportunity to show off in front of the camera. In the center of the city of Pokrovsk, they sacrificed at least 50 human lives, just to make our Western partners realize that we are losing. Pokrovsk.
Currently, fighters from the Skala Regiment are located in the northern part of Pokrovsk, and as soon as conditions allow, new assault groups are brought in there.
Move toward the road. It's me, don't worry. If the road is at 12 o'clock for you, tell me. when did the fire start? And tell me the distance, more or less, what it was. Regiment 425. Skala entered Huliaipole and began clearing the city. Drones and artillery are actively targeting the enemy. This became known at the end of last month. But right now, you have a unique opportunity to see firsthand how Ukrainian defenders from that very Skala regiment are clearing their homeland of uninvited Russian guests. That's exactly what the next report by TSN Nedelia's war correspondent Andriy Tsaplienko is about.
The Skala regiment is saving not only the Pokrovsk direction. These guys are defending Huliaipole in the Zaporizhia region.
There are more of us there now. Right now, we have more people there. They roam in small groups, but we eliminate them fast. We got close enough, in range, to take them out. Have you encountered DRG? Yes, we have. I opened the gate, and my brother is covering my back. The rear. And I go in and see a man in front of me with his rifle disassembled, cleaning it. Without thinking twice, I took him down.
Approximately half of Huliaipole is under Ukrainian control, claims the commander of the Consolidated Detachment, who describes the operation in the city as brief, like a shot, short and to the point.
Sweet. We find any enemy who has slipped through and eliminate them.
Is there a chance to completely clear out Huliaipole?
Of course. And I'm very confident that this will happen soon. I am speed. I am power. I am strength.
The success that the regiment achieves on the battlefield is forged here.
With any person, anyone can be turned into an assault trooper, regardless of age.
Skala trains its fighters very intensively, especially before their first deployment. None of the newcomers will be sent to Pokrovsk, Huliaipole, or Kupiansk without special training. Several weeks in the field. Right now, the fighters are practicing a combined assault, with everything as close to real conditions as possible.
Open fire at 12 o'clock.
Ammunition, live rounds. Yesterday, civilians are now attacking, and even drones are in the mix, and you have to learn how to shoot them down. This is the Bradley IFV. It's already been on a foreign deployment, but it hasn't entered Russia.
It hasn't entered.
Bradley? Yes, on this one. And as for how it is?
The vehicle, the plane, what can I say? It's the enemy's worst nightmare at night.
Skala teaches his fighters to shoot with anything they might get their hands on in battle.
The personnel, they are learning. They have the desire to learn, they're motivated, and they know what they are fighting for.
The strongest motivation is among those who have lost everything in the occupied territories.
I want revenge.
20 shells hit, and my son had just turned 1. I got my family out and picked up a rifle. What about the desire? Do you want revenge?
Of course, damn it. What about my house? Damn it. I went to school there. You know how it is. 1 shell hit, and half the school is gone.
Just 3 years ago, this guy was simply a civilian refugee who was lucky enough to escape from hell. In your estimation, how many people died in Mariupol from?
20,000 and more. The city was covered with dead civilians.
Civilians. They died. He left Mariupol and volunteered for the army. They accepted him on the 4th try. Initially rejected for being from occupied lands, he showed his character in the Skala regiment. Awarded the Hero Star, he became deputy battalion commander, finding in Skala exactly what he sought in war.
Discipline, logistics, and war stance. In Skala, the stance is, we kill everyone who comes to our land, regardless of where the mission is. We will be wherever the enemy is.
Ukraine has a very limited human resource, unlike Russia. Before demanding victories from a Ukrainian infantryman, you first need to give him everything he needs. From warm boots on the training ground to armor that will protect him during an assault.